GM, welcome back to the channel. In this one, we're going to do a market update, look at some of the coins on the watch list and see what news has been going on. So first things, we're going to start off here with Bitcoin, 97.2K. Nothing specials really happened, but it kind of feels like the market's starting to shrug off some of the tariff talk from Trump, and that's having less of an impact as he mentions it more frequently. So kind of like the boy who cried wolf in essence. We're still below, obviously, the good bad line at 100K. Would like to see us above 100,000 before getting actually bullish again. But it looks like Bitcoin's kind of not gone any lower. So therefore, maybe we go higher and put in a good bounce here. And you're seeing that with quite a few altcoins really starting to show signs of a proper relief bounce. So whether or not we get a full relief rally or this goes into a bigger and better structure of an actual reversal into continuation of up, we're yet to see that, but I think Bitcoin can come above like 100K and we can reassess from there. If we just look at a few things, ETH at $2,600, not looking particularly great there. However, you would think that was the kind of pico bottom, that blowout where someone clearly got liquidated for a small fortune. Salt ETH is still up nicely. So if we just go back to the original 2021 peak back here, that was resistance, flipped it to support, and now Salt ETH trading at 0.076. And obviously Sol has unlocks coming up this month and next. So I think maybe from the 1st of March and the month of March is quite a lot of tokens coming online, but I don't think it's going to be a huge issue. Then we have DXY, which is kind of maybe top tier and should at least push down somewhere, which hopefully gives a bit of respite for crypto assets. You can see from the trending up here, double click on Berachain real quick. So only launched on the 6th of February. It is now the 10th of February and we are down bad at this moment in time. I did actually buy on the initial day and thus I am coping and seething at this point. We will wait and see what happens with this, but it's a pretty poor start overall in terms of the price point. Market cap $569 million only. I would honestly say that is cheap. From what my kind of perspective of this was going into it, I think that is still undervalued. So I think from the kind of grave dancing and stuff that I've seen over the last weekends, I think this should start to pull in a bit of a reversal. Maybe a lot of people got really big airdrops. Did see one of the team members selling his tokens like 200K's worth, that kind of thing. It doesn't really help for the overall sentiment, but I think it's being clowned super hard and thus should reverse from here. Gainers, let's have a little look. Litecoin, TAO's in there as well, Stacks, Sui. I do think some of these are just going to go and put in lower highs generally as the altcoin market will still be weak. But other than that, I think that we are in a good position with Bitcoin trading where it is, and as long as we don't really break down below the kind of range lows for BTC like 91Ks, and I think Crown was analyzing that 93K should hold here if we are to put in a higher low of note, like the next significant higher low around 93K would be his price point for that. So obviously the altcoins have sold off so poorly, you would imagine they will start to trend up, but we wait with bated breath. Saylor did buy some more Bitcoins today, $742 million worth. 97.2K was his average price. He's brought up his overall average, however, now to 65K. So if you think about it, he was buying in the depth of the 2020 COVID crash, and now he's brought his average price all the way up to 65K. So that is somewhat concerning, I think. He now owns over 2% of the supply via MicroStrategy, but people continually fund this. So, as long as he's continuing to buy and you have net inflows from the ETFs, then, it shouldn't be too bad. But, this gets over 80, 90K at some point in this market. He's going to seem like a risk, and I think the market will not like it. When the price of BTC inevitably pulls back towards his levels, that will be a source of pandemonium on that timeline. You can imagine that. ETH Foundation here have moved the 50,000 Ethereum that they said they would to utilize within the DeFi ecosystem, and that's been done. So the multi-sig transaction is there on screen. So Vitalik and Co will deposit these into the likes of Aave and other kind of tier 1 DeFi OG protocols and support their network. So 131 mils worth of ETH not being sold, but going into DeFi primitives. So that is a decent start. Then what do we have coming up on the 18th of February? FTX creditors begin receiving some of their funds back. So we heard previously that from the start of January, 60 days from that date, claimants with 50K or less will start to receive their funds. 18th of Feb apparently is now that date. They will receive their payments in cash. So market participants will get a stimulus of sorts. They're expected to get back 119% of their claim amount, which is their principal plus accrued interest. So that is obviously a good thing, and approximately $1.2 billion. I assume that this is in USDC, although on Kraken you can receive USD. But obviously people are going to get these back to crypto exchanges. So whether this gets off-ramped or not, we'll have to wait and see. And then for larger claims, there's an additional 10.5 billion, which will come at a later date from then. Let's look at a few charts. This is TAO, aka BitTensor 396. DTAO going live, I believe, this quarter. So this could have a positive effect on price going forward as people will start to use TAO to speculate on ecosystem plays. So like shitcoining on TAO essentially. So bullish on this and obviously bullish on AI for this entire year. The AI meme of the cycle is of course fartcoin. You can see that that has managed to hold that kind of blue trend line. Obviously squeaky bum time down here around 40 cents. But putting in some decent candles. And I think this is just a metric for risk on more broadly. Now at around 65 cents today, which is pretty impressive. You can see some resistance coming in here around like the 80 cents mark. But, you know, if it can stabilize in here, I think it'll push into $1 plus territory yet again. And then we'll wait to see if, obviously, I wouldn't expect this to go and push a new all-time high straight out the gates. There's some significant highs here that are going to be challenged potentially if we are to remain really bullish on this thing. You also have AI16Z with a crazy chart here. That is damn ugly indeed by any measure. But there was a bottom, I think, put in around 27, 26 cents on a wick. So now up to 43 cents as of today. Could it come back a bit, maybe pull down, retest a little bit? Yeah, of course it could, but I think around this level, like 400 mil market cap for AI16Z is not bad at all, as this you'd expect to be one of the leading kind of tech plays in the AI crypto crossover broadly. Sol with the unlocks, $200. We want to see it above that sustainably here. It is currently above that. I think that is a key pivot level as well for me personally. And then we have Jupiter, which has some big upgrades coming and is just in a pretty standard range, quite close to the range lows at this moment in time. But I think this kind of whole like rectangle, if you box that off, eventually does resolve quite a lot higher for this thing as it starts to price in what's to come with its account abstraction layer and, you know, cross-chain interop, trade any asset across any ecosystem from Jupiter. I think, they own pretty much the whole stack at this point. So it's just a matter of time before they have everything up, live, kick in, and the token buybacks and burns start to occur. So bullish on that also for a long-term hold. Stablecoins have continued to be up only, which is a good sign. This was theorized by Crypto Condom, pretty much saying, look, up 8.6% on stablecoins in the market. She didn't theorize this, but I'm theorizing this. Obviously, stablecoins went up like a skyscraper, and you can see that on Sol. So from the chart, you can see that it's up over 100% in less than a month, which is pretty crazy. But at the same time, so you've got the meme coins capitulating, all the dogs, the cats, etc., getting absolutely fucked. So I think the theory is that not only was it like bullish stablecoin printing, but also bearish stablecoin printing in that people have just taken profits or sold at a loss or whatever. Obviously, the exit doors getting crammed, very tight exit doors, and people, as we saw from some of those charts, like the coins are down 80-90%. They've stabled up instead. So people haven't really left the industry. They've just stabled up. Hence, there's a lot of stable coins that can come back in from the sidelines on Sol at this moment in time and other networks. But she's saying, look, up 8% this month. There has never been a bear market since stablecoins began when liquidity wasn't decreasing rather than increasing. So we're currently increasing liquidity. I'm a firm believer we are late cycle, but I still don't think we've topped when so much liquidity continues to flow on-chain in the form of stables. And the US government itself wants to promote the on-chain stablecoin growth for dollar hegemony. Last thing, bit of alpha from Web3 Quant. He's saying, look, 103K would be a good area to shuffle your bags. So he's saying cycle top not in. That is his base case. However, at 103K, you're going to probably see a very nice relief bounce on your altcoins. cut the losers, add to the winners at that point is his shout, which I think is a pretty decent playbook to think about, especially if you have dead coins. You want to get rid of them at some point, maybe even just stable them up at a better price, and then play ball maybe when the games get a bit easier, as inevitably we'll have an easy mode again at some point in the market cycle. So Bitcoin here is at 97K, just holding on to that just about. See you in the next one. Peace.